All right. Bow bow choo 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 bow bow choo 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 bow wow choo 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 bow wow choo 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 choo. Hey, what's up? It is I, your host, Pogo Kiddo, with yet another episode of my show. Ah, it's a no show. It's a whatever show. It's me doing whatever. Yo, here I am, talking, probably loudly. Sorry. Sorry, neighbors. Uh, I think it's the middle of the day. I don't know if my neighbor's even home. But it's the middle of the day, right? Middle of the day. It's not like I'm like doing it in the morning or in the evening or late at night when people are sleeping. No, dude, it's the middle of the day. Stuff happens in the middle of the day, like this show. Ha 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 ha. So what am I working on? What am I working on? I'm working on this this bridge here. I got a bridge going. Listen to me. All right. So we got this bridge going. I'm making this bridge. I think I can feel my neighbors walking upstairs maybe. So I think someone's home. So I can't be too crazy. Yeah, I kind of need my own place. I need to get my own place. I need to like move out, get my own place. I'd really like to, but like housing prices are crazy. Crazy, man, crazy. They're crazy. I mean, I could, yeah, they're crazy. If you have to borrow money, you're SOL. Because interest rates are stupid expensive right now. All right, so what am I doing here? What I think I should try like a different color. I've been using a lot of spruce. Ooh, I can strip the spruce. That's a good idea. Okay, I'll strip the spruce, but then I need like I guess oak. Let's get some oak. Now, normally I would go chop down an oak forest and laugh maniacally. Ow, but I don't want to do that. Oh no, my frames per second. Video settings, extras. You also saw my packs. Ooh, you got all my information. That's okay. Go ahead, recreate what I'm doing. It's not bad. It's good, in fact. It's good. I don't like. Is this a look? I don't know. Ooh, I'm getting a warning that I'm going too fast here for my upload. That's a shame. It's at 7 or 8,000. So it's not like I'm doing anything crazy. But no, I haven't dropped any frames, dude. So I'm cool. Okay. So we're going to get oak. Oak sapling, and then bone meal, and then more bone meal. How much more bone meal are we gonna need? I don't know. Let's try that. All right. All right. Don't be too loud, man. Be just right. And I'm not too loud, right? This is like conversation volume. I'm not like fucking screaming and shit. So, yeah, dude, a bunch of stuff happened today, Wednesday, November the 8th. A lot of stuff happened today. Would you like to know more? Cause you're gonna know more. Ha 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 ha. Like, I'm doing this show just so I can tell you more. Ha 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 ha. How it all ties in. To me, it's like an unfolding, right? You're watching like a flower, and every time you think it's done, no, something that was emerging that you couldn't even see before has come from like out of almost nowhere. It just emerged and blossoms before you, and it unfolds yet again, yet another layer. Oh, every day is like that. Okay. So today, what are the first things, right? The most boring thing that I think, the most boring thing was Ivanka Trump testified in New York. She tried real hard not to testify. She like sued and everything, and she said, "Oh, I can't go because I have like child rearing duties or something." But somehow miraculously, the court didn't buy it and said you have to show up anyways. And then miraculously, she found a babysitter. This billionaire, right? So, so, so she testified, and apparently she's the one who was the most of all the kids, right? All the Trump kids testified. Jared, or not Jared. Ivanka, Don Jr., and Eric Trump all testified. I don't know if Tiffany did. I don't know what Tiffany's role is. I don't know, but I know Don Jr. did, Eric Trump did, and Ivanka did today. And Eric and Don Jr. like look pretty like silly. They look pretty bad on the stand. They're basically saying like they because it's already the verdict is already in, right? Hey, oh sorry, swiftly taken. I didn't even see it. Yeah, dude, I'm I don't know if you're there. I read your chat, but you're off to the side, and I'm like really into this, and I was also going off on my thing, so I don't always look at it. Like, yeah, I don't have a way of putting it up more in direct vision. Otherwise, it would. I don't know if you're gone now, but sorry. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Ivanka Trump, dude. Ivanka Trump testified. So Don Jr. and Eric Trump were both kind of revealed as to like I don't know what the deal was. I'm not really that keen on it, like understanding it. I just know that the two boys looked real bad. The boys, dude, they're like my age. And Ivanka was the one who was most prepared by her lawyers to testify. But so it's already determined that the Trump organization is a fraudulent organization. It's already been determined. That's already it's already been guilty, right? It's already guilty of fraud. All we're doing now, this part of it, is determining the damages. How much money are they going to have to pay? What will be the penalties? And so that's what they're determining. Let's see. I need more bone meal. Okay, that's what we're determining. Is how much damages are they going to pay? And so it's not like they can get out of it. Out of like whatever has happened. Their organization's already doomed in New York. It's just gonna see how much are they on the hook for. And so basically I think what it revealed was that I don't know what it revealed. I don't know. No, it was just an interesting day, I guess. I just looked at it. I just watched it, and I didn't really understand what was happening. In that one. But then I found out more about I changed after the Ivanka Trump thing. Like that's like a financial deal. I'm not really like that interested in it. Like, Donald Trump has already been found liable. So not guilty, because guilty implies criminality, and it's not criminal. It was a civil case. In a civil case where there's no statute of limitations, I guess, or something. So it couldn't be criminal. It had to be civil. And in the civil case, Trump was found liable for sexual assault. He sexually assaulted someone. Now, violating her civil rights. So the statute of limitations has already expired for a criminal charge. And they don't have any evidence really or like anything. It's been a long time. So a criminal charge, statute of limitations is gone for criminal charge. However, they can still do a civil case where it's liability. And Donald Trump was found liable for sexual assault of Jean Carroll. And then for defaming her character by denying it, by lying about it. So he's already been found liable of that, right? But that's civil. That's civil. He pays money. Like it's like okay. Same thing with this Trump organization thing, right? It's not a criminal. It's not like criminal. It's a criminal case, but it's not like what's that word? I don't know. Man, my upload was terrible. It's not criminal. It's like the organization is being tried, not the people. So it's not as interesting because it's just the organization. Yeah, I did see you swiftly taken. It just took me a while. What's up? Yeah, so those court cases I don't know very well. I'm not that into it. I'm more into the criminal cases that are going on, which is the Mar-a-Lago, Florida case about the secrets that Donald Trump stole, and then I'm about the DC case, federal case, which is about the insurrection on January 6th. And then also I'm watching the Georgia case, which is conspiracy to overthrow the election in Georgia. So those are the ones going on. There was another court case today in Minnesota, and for that one, it was can the people of Minnesota sue to keep Donald Trump from becoming the nominee in that state. And the court ruled no, you can't stop the party from doing what it wants to do, like in terms of who wants to nominate. Like there's no law against a party nominating somebody, and that's essentially what's happening. It's not on the Donald Trump isn't on the general ballot yet. He's not registered like in the state of Minnesota to do any of that stuff. So no, it's only the Republican Party who's going to nominate Donald Trump. So no, the people cannot stop the Republican Party from nominating Donald Trump. And the people of Minnesota cannot stop the Republican Party from nominating Donald Trump. Based on the 14th Amendment, which doesn't allow people who wage war against the United States from holding office. So the judge said, no, you can't do it because, and he said, and it was because he's not actually on the ballot yet. He's not even there yet. It's an internal thing. It's a Republican Party thing. The government can't interfere in something that's dealing with the Republican Party, an internal party thing. That's a private matter. That's not, government doesn't reach in that way. Now, that doesn't mean they can't sue again if the Republican Party puts Donald Trump on the ballot. Then you can sue. Of course you can sue, right? Because now it's not an internal party thing. Now they're out there in the public. Then you can do it. So that's one to watch. So the court case didn't go in the direction they wanted, but it's still like in play. And in Colorado, that's what they're doing. They have another court case in Colorado. Dude, what am I doing? I'm messing up. That's what. Okay, here we go. Oh, I need that. Um, so there's that one. I don't know what's going on in Colorado. They're having arguments still. But if Donald Trump loses, that means he cannot be on the ballot in Colorado, even if he's the nominee for the Republican Party. And yet, Donald Trump is still the front runner for the nominee for the Republican Party, even though he has all this baggage with him. Donald Trump already said he wants to break up NATO. So he wants to break up. So like, that's going to be the policy of the Republican Party. So I guess if Republicans want to break up NATO, they're gonna, support Donald Trump. Like, I don't know. I gotta find some Republicans in real life and ask them about that. I'm like, do you really want to leave NATO? Really? Because that's what Donald Trump wants to do. And if you've... See how much longer this one takes? Because with the spruce trees, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then make a ginormous tree, and then get lots of wood like that. But you can't do that with oak, dude. It doesn't work. Each oak tree is its own separate thing. Oh, Mr. Swiftly Taken, I missed you, man. I was gonna... Of course, like, what happens is you distract me with, like, computer talk, which is, like, cool sometimes. But, like, I've got this list here. I wanted to go over first. So, yeah. This is very interesting stuff, guys. I mean, like, this is important thing. Again, I tell you, right? We're living in historic times. Like, I mean, Biden, right? I'm going to give it to Biden for this one when he said that there's cycles, and that we're in the midst of a transition of one of those cycles, and so it's very, very, very important these next few years. He's not kidding, guys. He's not joking. The last time we were in this, and this is why I'm kind of freaking out, and I'm starting to realize it. The last time we had a cycle like this was in 1999. I'm not kidding, guys. I'm not kidding. What happened in 1999 was, like, it seemed like it was going to be a legacy thing. Because it was George H.W. Bush was president, right? And then right after that was Bill Clinton, president. And then right after that, it was George W. Bush, his son, the former president's son, versus the vice president of the former vice president, like. So on the left, the idea was kind of like, I hate to say it, but it was like demoralization. It was both sides are the same. Both sides are capitalists they're just neoliberals, and they're not going to do any fundamental change. Neither one. Neither Gore nor who's a neoliberal, nor Bush, W. Bush, who was like a Republican, like a fascist. Well, but back then, I don't think we understood that he was a fascist. I mean, I guess like it was that you could call him that, but like technically he was still a Republican. I don't think I called him. I might have called him fascist. I don't know. Well, I knew he was a bad guy. I mean, forever. Like we all, because like I thought Al Gore was going to be president. And then there was a coup. So remember I was telling you how it was important. It was a transition time. It was important, and that it was 20 years ago, and we had a coup, and George W. Bush took power, and we ridiculed him for months up until 9/11, and then all of a sudden, like nobody wanted. I mean, like you could ridicule him, but you're gonna swim against the current. Like everyone rallied around the flag. Everyone rallied around the president after 9/11. Like that's why I think I can see Israel-Palestine, the October 7th situation, like it resonates with me. It resonates, and I can absolutely see the parallels between that one and between October 7th and September 11th. I absolutely see it. Because remember, George W. Bush took power in a coup. His brother was Jeb Bush and the governor of Florida, and he messed around in Florida so that the votes were all like fuzzy there and fucked up. And then when it looked like Al Gore was gonna like pull ahead, Roger Stone got a mob of white people and went to the counting place, the place where they were counting in the county where they were counting the votes, and literally stormed made a riot and stormed the counting place so they couldn't count the votes. They literally did it. It's like they do the same thing over and over and over again. That's why like it drives me crazy that no one else sees it. So Roger Stone literally made a mob of white people to attack a vote counting station in Florida, and scared the people enough that they stopped counting votes. And then they got the Republicans-controlled Supreme Court to select W. Bush as the president, and they never counted the votes in Florida. It would have, if they would have counted all the votes in Florida, I think they did count all the votes in Florida afterwards. But like, I don't know I don't know what happened. But it was going to be that Al Gore was going to win. Al Gore was going to win, and there were all sorts of shenanigans because the governor of the state of Florida was the brother of the guy running. So George W. Bush takes power in a coup, and then months later, 9/11 happens, and George W. Bush uses the collective anger and grief and trauma of the nation. He uses it to fucking launch two pointless ass wars that we were in for. One war we were in for 20 years, dude. The longest war we've ever been in. 20 years. George W. Bush, based off the trauma of 9/11. And then Iraq. Don't even get me Iraq, holy shit. I mean, basically because George W. Bush invaded Iraq and destroyed Iraq, that essentially handed Iraq over to Iran. That it essentially handed the government of Iraq over to Iran. I mean, you have to understand that Iraq used to be on our team, somewhat. Until the United States took out Saddam Hussein, and then the government that took over was the Iraqi government that took over was more friendly to Iran, which is the enemy of the United States. The government of Iran is the enemy of the United States. Yeah, dude, oh well. Oh well, oh well, oh well. Oh well, oh well. Oh, I was gonna get more. I need more wood. Man, this is a lot slower. Okay. So George W. Bush takes power in a coup, uses the trauma of 9/11 to launch the United States into a 20-year war that saps the United States of its energy and its money and its people. Um, for what gain? 20 years later, the Taliban is still there. 20 years later, Iraq is now in the hands of Iran, our enemy. And 20 years later, Al Qaeda has metastasized into ISIS. So what Bin Laden did was provoke a response from the United States that was disproportional by a huge margin. By a huge margin. The United States dragged along with it to Afghanistan and Iraq. It dragged along with it NATO. I mean, like, I can't believe that. George W. Bush fucking dragged NATO into invading Iraq and Afghanistan. Like, I don't know about Iraq. Afghanistan, yes. When they wanted to do Iraq, nobody wanted to go. They couldn't get NATO to do it. So George W. Bush said, "Well, we're going to get together this coalition of the willing." That's right. He made the coalition of the willing, of the nations that were willing to like go to war in Iraq. Like, it was hilarious because he lied in order to go to war in Iraq. So like, and some of the nations were like, yeah, we're not gonna buy your lie. But a lot of the Americans did. A ton of Americans bought the lie, and they were all about invading Iraq. It was so dumb. It was so stupid. So I totally so that's what happened 20 years ago during a key moment. Like, I was dumb to think that Al Gore would have been just the same as George W. Bush. That was a stupid, short-sighted, like, of me. That was stupid and short-sighted of me. But I was fucking pretty young, guys. So I was a young kid. But I was dumb, dude. That was short-sighted of me. Yeah, Al Gore wasn't perfect. But that was a key moment, right? Like, that was a key moment. Like, one of those. Remember what Joe Biden's talking about? One of those key transformative moments in history. Every so often, this is one of them. And we had one 20 years ago when George W. Bush seized power instead of letting Al Gore take the presidency. Imagine the United States had President Al Gore when it was struck by the terrorists on 9/11. Maybe we wouldn't have gotten hit on 9/11 because Bill Clinton handed to George W. Bush a memo saying Bin Laden is determined to strike within the United States. And what did George W. Bush do with that information? Nothing. He did nothing with it. George W. Bush did nothing with the information that Clinton handed him off about Bin Laden. So if it had been President Gore instead of President W. Bush, President Gore probably would have done something with the information that was obtained by President Clinton, and probably would have thwarted 9/11 and made sure it didn't happen. If it didn't happen, the United States would have never have gone into Iraq and Afghanistan. Imagine 20 years of peace instead of 20 years of war. What the United States could have done with all that wealth. Imagine the young people who didn't have to die. And instead they lived glorious lives. I think there's a guy named Pat Tillman who was a super like promising football star. He was like fucking awesome. And then but when 9/11 happened, he did his duty and he signed up as special agent or special forces or something like that. And he went off to Afghanistan and he got killed by friendly fire. Like what like it's so what a tragedy, man. What a waste. Like imagine that never happened and instead Pat Tillman went on to have like a superstar football career. Imagine the games we could have seen. Holy shit. Like but instead and Al Gore was big into the environment. He was big into the environment, dude. He would have fucking done a bunch of stuff to get us on track onto a green economy. Imagine like a 20-year head start on the green economy. how much environment, how many species would we have saved had we started 20 years ago with President Al Gore, with the environmentalist president? How many species would still be alive? How many species are we going to lose because we're stupid and we can't figure it out? So that was the transformative moment, and unfortunately, Americans, I don't think could do anything about it. I mean they could, right? They could, like, of course they could, but I think America, the United States, it feels like it's like I don't know about back east, right? I don't know what it's like back east, but out west. Man, there's a lot of distance between cities. There's a lot of distance between cities. So each city is like an island, like a star, like a planet. And then you have like one city that's like the hub, like the main star of the solar system. But each city is its own like system, its own little planet, you know? So I don't know what it's like back east. It looks like you guys all blend together. So I don't know if you have that kind of dynamic. But information like doesn't flow that easily between towns like that. So it's different now because we have the internet. But back then the internet was like still a brand new thing. Like it was still pretty new. Like I had yeah. In 1997, I remember going to the computer lab in France because you had to go to the computer lab, right? People didn't have computers at their houses. That's crazy. No, you went to the computer lab in the university, signed in, and you had assigned to you a 3.5-inch floppy disk that you would store your email on, and you would log into the email server and then download the email onto your 3.5-inch floppy drive and read it from there. Because you couldn't save it on the lab computers because there's no hard drives, I guess, or something, or you couldn't use their hard drives. So there wasn't enough space. So so yeah, the internet was brand new, right, back then. So when they did this coup, it was a lot harder to mobilize, or maybe not even mobilize, but I don't know. I think we were highly polarized. The United States was highly polarized. We had Newt Gingrich, the contract on America, which is the prototype of the MAGA Republicans. Newt Gingrich was the prototype of the MAGA Republicans. So, but we didn't fucking understand that back then. I didn't understand that the Republicans were the party of white supremacy. I didn't understand it. I didn't comprehend the history that I didn't even have the history, I think. But oh, so wait, why did I go back that far? Contract on America, Newt Gingrich. Yeah, the prototype of the MAGA Republicans. But now I'm getting pretty young, where I'm like, oh shit, like I barely remember this stuff. I remember Newt Gingrich and the Contract on America because I I wrote a paper on it in college. And I got a D. I got a D on my paper. Because I didn't because back then I didn't understand the ideologies. I didn't understand that my political science professor was a right-wing person. I didn't understand that. And that poli-sci was a right-wing course. I didn't know that. I didn't know poli-sci was a right-wing course. I thought it was just political science that I was interested in. And I So I took the idea was to, like, he talked about government, that's cool. He didn't talk about politics so much, but he talked about government, and I learned about how government worked, so that was cool. And then he had me write a paper about a book, and so I think the big thing about it back then was contract. Newt Gingrich put out a contract with America, and I'm like, oh well, I'll read. I had no idea, right? So I'm like, I'll read his contract on America, with America or whatever, and then write a paper on it. And so I read his book, and I tried to read his book, right? I tried to read his book, but I kept looking for concrete policies, things that he wanted to do, like laws that he wanted to pass, and I didn't want to read a bunch of fluffy whatever bullshit, and that's all that was in there. There was nothing of substance. I was looking for actual policies that I could debate, and he didn't have anything in there. And so I wrote that in my paper. I'm like, look, I did this paper on this contract. The guy didn't say anything. He didn't give any policy proposals that I could talk about or measure. It was all just fluff. And the dude gave me a D. The professor gave me a D. It's so bad, dude. It was so bad. It was such. I did so bad in that class, and it almost killed my college career because I'm like, maybe I'm not made up. Maybe I'm not college material. I was thinking stupid shit like that. I had to go back to community college and then realize that I take another college course, sociology, and then I'm like, oh, ding, ding, ding. Oh, now I get it. But anyways, yeah, important moments, important nexus events. I guess if you want to call it that or whatever, a nexus event. Like a canon event. I don't know, not a canon event. The way I called it was the bifurcation of the cloud. So the future to me, okay, let's go over here. The future is like a quantum cloud. It's a quantum cloud. It's not defined. It's anything, right? It's all the potential possibilities. It's all the possibilities that exist given the circumstances. What am I? the initial conditions. It's all the possibility. Okay, so we're at the present moment. We're at the present moment. Like, this is the present moment, and I'm looking forward into the future. But the future, right? We're not there yet. That's why it's the future, because we're not there yet. So in front of us, because we're not there yet, and the future can be anything, right? It's a quantum cloud. It's a big cloud of quantum quantum possibilities. All the possibilities given these conditions at this moment, right? Because these conditions at this moment precondition what's possible in the future. So the quantum cloud is not all possibilities, because that's impossible given what we have here. You can't go from what we have here into something completely random else, right? It's got to be connected to what we have in our current time. That's why it's limited. It can't just be out over there, because we're not out over there. We're over here. All right. So, and like, it's a big fat cloud, right? But it stays a big fat cloud until we literally like observe it by being in the moment. Once we go into that moment, step into that step of the cloud, it's no longer a cloud of quantum probabilities that's misty and like not defined around us. No, we're actually in the moment now. So it actually collapses into one possibility of the infinite whatever it could be. It actually collapses. It coalesces into something. It can no longer be a cloud. It coalesces. And there's two, okay, so that, and then it becomes actual and history and solid that you cannot change, immutable, right? It's done. It's a done deal once that happens. But until that happens, it's a cloud of wispy possibility. But there's two like branches that we can see, Joe Biden can see, I can see, like, and other people can see. You know, there's two branches that we're looking at least two, and one branch is off to like fascism and to death. I mean, literally to death, because it's authoritarianism, which is death, and then democracy is off in this other direction. And so back in the 2000s, Americans, because I guess the internet wasn't developed yet, the consciousness wasn't developed yet enough. I don't know why. But instead of going to Al Gore toward the light, we folded into George W. Bush, what brought us into dark. 20 years of darkness. 20 years of war, because we missed it. We missed the exit. Right? Now we're coming up, and here's another potential exit. We could go further into darkness with Donald Trump, or we could head back to the light with not Donald Trump. Like, I'm pretty pissed off at Joe Biden right now. Like, and I'll tell you why later. But yeah. Or we can go in this other direction, toward the Democrats. If not Joe Biden, then at least towards Bernie Sanders, right? Bernie Sanders. That's who I wanted in the primary. That's who I wanted to be president. That's who I wanted, you know, like, but I'm a team player. And if you say Joe Biden, okay, I'll root for Joe Biden. But now you know why. Now you know why I didn't want Joe Biden. Now you know why. Anyways, we're coming up to that moment again where it's going to be a fundamental change, and it's going to be important the way we fold in 2024. We cannot let ourselves get folded into darkness again, the way that happened last time. We got to move toward the democracy. Now in 2020, that was another major moment, and Donald Trump failed to fold us into the darkness. But it doesn't mean he was going to stop. He's going to try again. And if not him, if not Donald Trump himself, then another person, right? Because Donald Trump is not the fucking dude. He's not the end-all be-all. He's not the last boss. He is an avatar of the boss, of fascism. Donald Trump is merely an avatar. Like, don't get caught up on the avatar. right? Just because you destroyed this one avatar doesn't mean they can't just make a new avatar. They'll just pick somebody else to be their chosen. You know? Just so don't get hung up on Donald Trump because Donald Trump can just as easily be dropped by the spirit of fascism, and a new person will be made into the avatar of fascism, and then that person you got to take care of. Like, so don't get hung up. They're already trying to find somewhere else to like siphon off the energy to, but they can't figure it out. Like Ron DeSantis, ha 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 ha. He's not a mob boss like Donald Trump. Anyways, yeah, so it's important to pay attention. Now, okay, let's get back to why I'm angry at Joe Biden. So Netanyahu, the fascist government of Israel is going to go ahead with the ethnic cleansing of Gaza. And that's essentially what they're doing. It's already starting. The pictures are already coming out of streams of civilians fleeing their homes before the Israeli invasion. So they've already, and then Netanyahu has said that Israel is going to take over that area now. So yeah. Ethnic cleansing, dude. Joe Biden facilitated that. Joe Biden protected that. Joe Biden gave the green light for that shit. Joe Biden did. Joe Biden's spokesperson said that there was no red line. Joe Biden was not giving Netanyahu a red line, and what did Netanyahu do? He went to ethnic cleansing. He went straight to ethnic cleansing. They have killed like 10,000 civilians, guys. 10,000 people. Civilians. 10,000 Palestinian people. Kids. Mostly kids, dude. Mostly kids. Children. You gonna tell me children are terrorists? Joe Biden is the one who gave the go-ahead and the cover for that. Netanyahu could not have done it without Joe Biden's help. Joe Biden is an accessory to ethnic cleansing. He used the U.S. military to give cover to the Israelis to do ethnic cleansing. Genocide. So just like the Americans drove out the American Indians, they conquered their lands with violence, with armies. They broke all their deals with the Native Americans, and they said, okay, under Andrew Jackson, piece of shit Andrew Jackson. He said, all right, Native Americans, we have all these treaties with you, we have made all these agreements with you and stuff, but we're stronger than you, and we have our military, and you're conquered. So we're gonna make you leave everything you know and love, and you have to go live somewhere else on some shitty land that no settlers want. just leave. We're taking your land. And that's what the United States did. They drove all the Native Americans away from their homes and onto pieces of shit land in the middle of nowhere on concentration camps. And you'd think, oh, maybe those Americans learned their lesson. No. Remember, the American Empire is based on white supremacy and conquest. And it's something that's ingrained in them. So, I mean, seriously, I remember going to school and learning about it. Learning about well, how would I say, it kind of whitewashes the conquest and the Native American, like, how they were, like, defeated. It just kind of, like, doesn't even talk about it. It talks more about the pioneers going westward, but not the Native Americans getting slaughtered. Or having their land stolen, or put onto concentration camps and starved to death. So that's what. So it's like historical. Americans do it again and again and again. Um, in in World War II, the Americans rounded up not the Italian Americans, not the German Americans, no, only the Japanese Americans. They rounded up the Japanese Americans, sold all their property, confiscated all their property, and sold it off to white landowners, and then put them all in concentration camps. Oh, we call them, what was it? Internment camps. This is essentially the same thing. You concentrated them into one area so you could watch them. And you took all their shit. So Americans, the Americans do this all the time. It's not a new thing. You'd think they would have learned, but like it would have even made more sense had it been a Republican administration to do it, because they're white supremacists. They want an ethno state, right? but why would Joe Biden support this? Does Joe Biden want an ethno state? Like, is Joe Biden helping out with white supremacy? Sure, it's in another country, but just because it happens in another country doesn't mean they won't do it here to the brown people here. In fact, they did. They do it all the time. Hitler got his inspiration from Jim Crow, the United States Jim Crow. Just the other day, Elijah McClain. Remember Elijah McClain? So Elijah McClain was this beautiful black man, really, really gentle, really, really kind, really, really artistic and creative, and he shared himself with everybody, his joy with everybody. He was a great man. And but he's not Superman. He has anemia, Anemia is a condition in which your red blood cells either oh dude there you are. So anemia is a anemia is a condition in which your body cannot carry no, it doesn't have enough red blood cells. And you need red blood cells in order to carry oxygen to the rest of your body. So if you don't have enough red blood cells, it's a problem. Your blood is like thin. So because it's cold at night in Colorado, Elijah McClain was wearing a ski mask to keep his exposed skin to a minimum. And a Colorado cop saw him and came up to him, and they could have asked, there was no reason whatsoever to escalate. There was no reason, right? All Elijah McClain was doing was walking home after work. That's all he was doing. And this cop tackles the kid or the guy onto the ground, onto the grass, puts him in a chokehold so he can't breathe. So the kid's freaking out because he can't breathe, and the kid like vomits. Right? He's under such duress that he's like throwing up, and he's pleading for the police to check his ID, to let him know what he needs to do, to let him know that they're hurting him. All this stuff, and the police end up fucking injecting him with drugs, dude. The police find some guy on the street, chokehold him, and inject him with drugs, and then he dies. Because the police just fucking killed this man. The police show up and kill this man for no reason. There was no reason. Well, I do suspect there is a reason. It's because Elijah McClain is black. So the police felt it was their privilege to murder this guy, and they did. And when the law came to hold the police accountable, one of the police who found the guy who initiated and escalated the contact, he was found not guilty. So, wow, the state protects those who do violence unjustly onto a persecuted population. That sounds exactly like what goes on with the apartheid Israel and what they're doing to the Palestinians. So, wow, I want to say that it's a surprise that the United States would support Israel in its genocide, but historically, that's what the United States does. Like I want to say, oh, it's gotten better. It's not doing that anymore. But come on, just look, dude. The last president instituted a ban against an entire religion. Well, not even a religion, just the brown people of the religion. Dude, yeah, the United States has a history of white supremacy and of forced relocation of populations, of ethnic cleansing. It has a history, and it's not even an old history, guy. It's a pretty recent history. The United States. I mean, World War II wasn't that long ago. But it's like, yo, we're just gonna ethnically cleanse the United States of Japanese Americans and take all their shit and give it any wealth that they created, gone. It's gone. Like, I can't even talk about Chinese Americans. I don't really know them that well. I mean, but Chinese Americans, they were always persecuted against. There were lynch mobs against Chinese people, who and like, see, that's the thing. Chinese people, they kind of understood, like, oh shit, these crazy Americans, best not mix with them. So Chinese people, like, when they came here to work, they pretty much stayed to themselves. That's why they have Chinatowns. They didn't really, they didn't really try. They just like stuck to themselves. And they still got fucked with. There was still all sorts of anti-Chinese discrimination. Like, I mean, it's literally a country built upon white supremacy and slavery and genocide. Like, it's not even that long ago. So is it really that much of a wonder that the United States would participate in genocide? You need more bullets there, BB? You need more weapons? Yeah, I see you're using a lot of arms and weapons in your genocide. You need some more? Let Uncle Joe help you out. We knew who he was when we elected him. I wanted Bernie Sanders. I canvassed for Bernie Sanders. I went to his rally here in Salem. I have pictures of it. Of his rally here in Salem. It was like in an old gym. like a not like a weightlifting gym, but like a basketball gym. with ugly orange lights. What else? Yeah, so yeah, it sucks that I told you, oh yeah, this is a real important moment, real important bifurcation moment, real important. It sucks to say that and then be like, oh yeah, Joe Biden helps out, facilitates genocide. Vote for him. What? I'm not gonna do that. All right, I gotta go. My mom's calling. I'll do this later. All right, peace out. Stop. Hello.